Sit that right there, don't go nowhere, little baby gon' shake that, little baby gon' shake that, little baby gon' shake that, little baby gon' shake that. Said yeah, I like that, bring that right here. Said sit that right there, don't go nowhere. Said yeah, I like that, bring that right here. Said sit that right there, don't go nowhere.
Yo, welcome back. We back with another reaction video. Today we are reacting to rappers who faked their entire image by Matty Balls. Is Drake in this month? Drake better be in this month. But let's get right into it.
Your image is very important to your artistry. And for many people in rap music, historically it's been important to have a harder or a cooler image. But not everyone who has made music in this genre is like that. Some people are honest about it, but other people were likely too insecure to be themselves and decided to lie about their image. So today we're going to be looking into rappers who lied about their image, starting off with Rick Ross. Also, I want to clarify I'm not mocking these guys or shaming them or even suggesting that they should be promoting something.
Hold on. Tiger on the list? But I listened to the old Tiger. When was he portraying something he wasn't? Maybe the newer Tiger, but he just always seemed like a nigga, a male that like to get tattoos, females, and money. That's all he ever rapped about. Like, I'm confused.
Negative, but many fans do find it very disingenuous when you lie about your lifestyle. And to be honest, the drama that spawns from that is pretty entertaining, so let's check it out. Rick Ross has created a career that many young aspiring rappers could only dream of. He has 11 studio albums and has featured on countless songs, many of which make up his most popular works. I mean, you guys know how big of a rapper Rick Ross is. Recently, many people have seen him going viral for having a farm or through his very recent involvement with Drake. Bottom line is, Ross has been in the game for a while. He's never had a super hard image per se, but he has alluded to having a tougher.
I think I'm Big Meech Larry Hoover. I'm not a star, somebody lied. I got a chopper in the car. What are you talking about? What are you speaking of? What?
Life. Like on the song I'm So Hood when he says, snitching ain't gonna cut no time, I'll murder one of you, rob you for your last, then off come the mask. And he has plenty of other songs where he alludes to selling drugs and things along those lines. But somehow, even with all of his accolades, Rick Ross has managed to become known as one of the biggest liars in the game. And to understand how, we gotta look more into his come up. In 1967, Rick Ross was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi. He didn't live there long though, as he eventually moved to Carroll City.
Wait. That nigga said 67, and that clearly says 76. Unless my ears are dyslexic.
Liars in the game. And to understand how, we gotta look more into his come up. In 1967,
nah, gang, 1976, not 67. I would say, damn, Ross is 60? What the fuck? I said, this nigga's 60 years of age and he's still beefing with Drake and calling him BBL Drizzy?
And Rick Ross was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi. He didn't live there long though, as he eventually moved to Carroll City in Miami. Unlike where Ross was born, Carroll City had a much larger population of around 60,000 people and deals with a lot of problems that come with living in a bigger city. For Ross, these problems showed themselves in the visible crime and poverty in his area that would begin to spark interest in the lifestyle he would portray in his music. The Miami lifestyle seemed to influence Rick Ross's persona, along with the show Miami Vice, which he claims to be a big fan of. While growing up, Ross himself mostly kept on the straight and narrow path, but regardless, at some level he was influenced by his environment. Instead of making money in the common ways that many around him did, and in a way he would go on to rap about, Rick Ross worked wash making about $30 a day. While working at the car wash, he saw a lot of expensive cars owned by a bunch of different types of people like millionaires, dealers, businessmen, and people like that, and he said he was very inspired by them. So even though he was inspired early to make some money, his steps toward becoming those he looked up to would not begin yet. Instead, he went to college. This is where things start to get a little shaky for Rick Ross's image, and a reason why many call him a liar. You may be thinking, with the things Ross raps about, it's a little odd to think he was a man interested in further education. Well, the world seemed to agree, as they discovered he not only got a football scholarship to attend Albany State, but also was studying to become none other than a criminal justice major.
Okay, well, hold on. What's wrong with trying to actually further your education or bettering yourself, even if you did or didn't come from the street life, like in general, just as a person? Like, take out the culture, take out being hood or whatever. Like, what would be the problem with him trying to further his education? What? It's the problem with the black community. What are we talking about? What are we speaking on? You gonna shun a nigga because he wanted to get some money that was legal? That's crazy. That would make no sense. Like, that's only pop culture doing that. Like, You niggas is bots.
Quite the opposite of what he rapped about living. To be fair though, he did drop out after his first year. But what followed his dropping out would only add on to the credibility issues that he would later come to face. Because after he left Albany State at 19, he began working as a correctional officer at a South Florida prison. Well, his time there only lasted 18 months, which to me still feels pretty long in contrast with the things he raps about. The job was no joke and not a position that you could just start a day after signing. To secure that position, Mr. Rose would have to go through a Department of Corrections training academy that required 540 hours of instruction. That's over 20 days in training. So
damn, 20 days. Well, it's probably paid training though. I would say, because there ain't no way I'm doing 20 days of training for no money. You lost
he was
me.
clearly committed. The CO portion of Rick Ross's life was discovered in 2008 during his early popularity. A photograph was released by a TMZ adjacent website called The Smoking Gun that depicts a younger Rick Ross in uniform while working at the prison. After getting exposed, for years he would just deny the validity of the picture, making outrageous claims like...
And that's the problem. You lying. That's the real problem. Like, bro, why are you denying it? If anything, as long as the statute of limitations isn't crazy, you might as well just make a better lie and say, yeah, I was a CO, but nigga, I was corrupt. like, if you want to appeal to the street, nigga, like, I'm just saying
that it was photoshopped. In countless interviews, he would be drilled on the topic, and every single time he would either deny it or derail the entire conversation.
Trick Daddy recently accused you of working as a prison guard at one point, Rick. Is there any truth to that?
No, that's not true. But that's disappointing to hear that he said that. He said that?
That's disappointing to hear that he knows the truth about you. It's more disappointing that you would try to hide the truth. When, I mean, it's early 08, so, I mean, it might have been damaging, but, like, really? Is it? If he already dropped crazy albums at the time, bro, what is it to say the truth? People might actually respect you more, but then you can't rap about the drug dealers unless, again, you was dipping and dabbling while you was a CO. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was still in the streets doing shit, then who is niggas to judge? Like, but anyway.
That's what the question said, yeah.
Eventually, though, he admitted it, saying it was just a way to make money and that he was just using the job as a way to understand the other side of the drug dealing world.
You know what I mean? So we all did a lot of different things to put us all in position. In position, right? And it's not the obvious. So if Rick Ross did work at one of these places, it wasn't for the obvious reason. Right.
You see how he's speaking in third person and then saying if he did, not actually admitting the shit and telling the truth. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, you're just gonna dodge the truth is insane.
You know, it's a lot of gold mines around people's faces that people really don't know how to take advantage of. So yeah, me and we did what we do. You know what I mean?
This clip was taken from like 2 whole minutes of him beating around the bush, claiming that he basically got the job just to get in with the people who were locked up. Eventually though, he got to the point where he was comfortable enough to just straight up admit it.
So were you a correctional officer at one point?
Once he got enough money to where it literally would not matter, once he went legit to where he did not have to feed the streets as far as consumerism wise to get money, he said, yeah, let me just tell the truth. I think that's weak. Like, it would have been a way tougher path to do it, like, initially, like, tell the truth initially, but, nigga, if you would have came out of that fire, you would have been one of them ones. No?
I was, yeah.
So going all the way back, when was that? How long ago?
Maybe when I was 20.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Since his college major was criminal justice, it didn't seem like his real goal was to become a double agent, but who knows? After that, Ross considered working as a firefighter, but decided to work in construction so he could spend more time following his dream of making music. DeBoss's start in music was under the name Teflon Don. After getting some traction in the music industry and making some connections, including a significant friendship with our boy DJ Khaled, in the mid-2000s he changed his name to Rick Ross.
Is that why he had a tape called Teflon Don? Yes. This nigga right here, basic. Hey, what's my old rap name? I might as well give y'all something. Like, nigga, get the... Like, what?
This is another point in his career that would cause many to call him a liar, all because of his name. If you don't know a lot about the situation, you may wonder what's so bad about his name, and that's the thing. It wasn't his name. In fact, it was the name of a real person. That real person is the notorious former drug lord Freeway Rick Ross, or Freeway Ricky, or whatever else you want to call him. Freeway is known for his 1980s drug empire that dominated LA for years, and eventually led to his sentence of life in prison, ended with a successful appeal that freed him in 2009. And he wasn't some random dealer either, because Freeway once boasted that his empire was so large they were making $1 million a day. Ridiculous. This was in the 80s, so if you adjust for inflation, that is almost $5 million of today's money coming in every day. He's so big, in fact, that many say he's a major influence for the popular FX show Snowfall, specifically the protagonist Franklin Saint. And despite how extremely popular Freeway Rick Ross was, Teflon Don still decided to pretty much copy his name.
When the streets had that kind of love for you, the rappers find out. You know, they're some of the first people to find out about that, and he took it and he capitalized on it.
To be fair, Ross did grow up around a lot of similar things that Freeway was partaking in, but the key word is grew up around. He was never doing it like Freeway, as he has claimed in many songs. When this realization was made by the public, many people were upset again that Ross had seemingly lied about his past. And not only was the public upset, but Freeway himself, after being released from prison, decided to sue Rick Ross and WMG for stealing his name as well as his image.
I'd hit him when we was in jail. We talked, and he was supposed to come and see me, and he never did. I wasn't really tripping about that. I got out, you know, started doing my own thing. This lawyer came to me and said, man, Universal owe you $50 million. I said, go get it.
On God.
Yeah.
Just like that. That's all it was.
But while Freeway and the public's frustration was reasonable, the court inevitably threw the case out in favor of Rick Ross based on a First Amendment ruling. Ironically enough, this lawsuit was one of Rick Ross's first encounters with the law. He did have a few minor charges here and there, but nothing like Freeway Ricky. All of it came after his breakthrough success, and none of it... Ironically enough, this lawsuit was one of Rick Ross's first...
He has had other issues to deal with, including facing charges for weapons, drugs, kidnapping, and assault. Nigga, you kidnap people? What?
First encounters with the law. He did have a few minor charges here and there, but nothing like Freeway Ricky. All of it came after his breakthrough success, and none of it corroborates anything close to the detailed Miami cocaine cowboy lifestyle he raps about. As his lie-filled past seeped out into the public, it got around to 50 Cent, who after getting into some type of beef with him claimed that the drive-by shooting Ross was involved in 2013 was staged. While there's no solid evidence for that being the case, it appeared to be believable enough at the time for 50 to use it as a shot at Rick Ross because of his tattered credibility. Ironically, the beef between 50 and Ross allegedly started when 50 gave Ross a disgusting look at the BET Awards. It then escalated to some back and forth diss tracks in which 50 coined the popular nickname for Ross, Officer Ricky.
Introducing AOCO is crazy, brother. That nigga was cooking.
To his CO past. And it seemed like a lot of the issues that 50 had with Ricky Rose was his fake image. 50 is known for having countless different beefs and pursuing them to a level like no other, and Ross's lies were plenty of ammunition for 50 to take advantage of. In this case, 50 took more of a creative approach in his public dismantling of DeBoss through a short cartoon series titled Officer Ricky.
Damn. Officer Ricky? Damn, Rick. Why you got me up in this man? Is it because I said you and your mama look like the clumps? Well, y'all is some ugly mother.
So clearly Ross had a lot of lies throughout his career. But it's important to note that even if Ross did lie, he obviously did a few things right, as he is now one of the most successful rappers as well as entrepreneurs in the game. And now if you see anyone during this Drake beef making fun of him, calling him a correctional officer or the police or something like that, now you know why. And just because Ricky Rose is a liar doesn't mean that his songs aren't still good. Tyga is generally well liked in the music world and has a long lineup of hit songs and collaborations. While he now is known for making a lot of songs that people would categorize as club music or for the ladies, he was not always this way. In fact,
Sir, yes he was. Yes he was. Don't get me wrong. Some of the songs on the Black Thought, the first Black Thought and the second one, they had some actual like conscious rap vibes to it. But like for the most part, bro, he's talking about females. Getting females. Having a fun time. Like nigga, the whole Raw series, what are we talking about? I was a Tiger fan, so you can't just chat, brother. You're chatting, brother.
Say his early style of music is unrecognizable to what it has evolved to today. His career has had many ups and downs like many others, but he's thrived for almost 20 years now since his signing to Lil Wayne's label Young Money Entertainment in 2008. Years later, he would release one of his biggest hits, Rack City, that would catapult him into a new realm of collaborations. One of those collaborations was with none other than Chris Brown, and it was while he was working with Chris Brown that the controversy began. The controversy revolves around his beef with Lil Durk and the spotlight it put on Tyga's debatable authenticity. The beef took place around 2014 and was one that had been...
Brother, that wasn't a beef. It was a weak-ass diss track. And then Durk responded. And then the game tried to step in on behalf of another nigga. And then nothing happened. That was not a beef. That was some bullshit. Like, bro, what the... Like, it wasn't even really... They weren't even rapping for real. Like, it's ass. Both of them disses were ass.
Been brewing for a bit. It all started when the two would be in the studio with Chris Brown working on music, and Tyga previewed a song Durk was on. In Durk's verse on the song, he mentioned having sex with Tyga's ex-wife, Black China. This interaction...
I don't think he ever married Black China. I think that was just his baby mama, if I'm not mistaken. From his that one album with the that album, bro. I'm pretty sure like he explicitly states that that's just his baby mama, but whatever.
Started what would go on to be a series of IG posts as well as disses back and forth between the two. During the exchange, Durk went at Tyga for famously getting his chain snatched and pointed out multiple times that he did not view the interactions as beef, but if Tyga wanted... Tyga's responses included calling Durk broke, a nobody, and denying that he ever got his chain snatched.
There was some controversy, some videos online about someone snatching your chain. Can you clear that up for us?
Yeah, man, that's all false, man. It's like, I just don't understand. Like,
eventually the beef fizzled out, but it was the start of Tyga's image being exposed. There was some more drama where people accused him of repping multiple different gangs, but I don't know too much about that personally. Not gonna get into it. But how did this self-proclaimed Compton native go from making music that would get him signed by Lil Wayne, having beefs with Lil Durk?
That nigga just said Compton native. When the fuck Tyga ever said he was from Compton? I'm like 94% sure he always says LA. He never says Compton, like directly ever. What is this thing talking about?
And repping different gangs to songs like Taste, the highest selling song of his career. Well, it all starts with his so-called roots in Compton. Throughout his rise, Tyga would claim that he was born and raised in Compton and often discussed the hard times this brought. Many people believed him and even give him the...
No, he didn't. What the fuck? What is going on? I'm talking about, I listened to the throwback original. I listened to Tyga's first tape. This nigga is chatting. What?
The credit that comes with growing up there. But this was all changed when the truth of Tyga's upbringing was exposed. In 2012, a video from MTV's Bustas, which Tyga was featured on, was leaked. In the show, Tyga competed in a set of pretty ridiculous challenges, which even resulted in him getting booed off stage at one point, in part because he didn't know how to pronounce the word amoeba during a freestyle.
Amoeba? Oh, brother, you're cooked. You're cooked, brother. Amoeba? And I just thought of 15 bars. Anyway, bro, you, oh God. What the hell is it, man? T-Raw, what are we doing, brother?
But the real kicker came from
Was that Corrupt Hustle on the show?
Tyga's introduction on the show. Remember how Tyga has claimed that he grew up in Compton throughout his entire career?
No, you're telling me this. I don't remember him saying any of this. Ever. I've never heard him say any of this. He said it in a track that he's from Gardenia. What the f is this nigga talking about?
Well, during this introduction, he flips that narrative and pretty much his entire image on its head.
Tyga, I got this name when I was young. My mom used to say I looked like Tiger Woods, so I just stuck with that. Grew up, not too tough. Parents got a Range Rover, CL600, doing it big. Not too much hard, but I'm still street. Yeah, it's TYGA. They say I'm not hood because I stay in the valley. They say I never been in the alley. I tell them cats, I've been in the alley.
First,
T-Raw. You really could not rap for real. Hey, look, man. Hey, man. I think I was a fan of that nigga energy, bro. And that nigga do got some tracks where he's actually going, like, let me not do this to this man. But T, what are you doing? T, what the fuck? That freestyle was horrible, brother.
Tyga has publicly and proudly claimed that his name stands for
God
Thank You
Always.
God Always, but then he revealed the truth of his name's origin, which was that his mom said he always looked like Tiger Woods, so he went with that. Second, he states that he grew up
he is blazing. Is that? He is blazing.
not too tough, and that his parents drove a Range Rover as well as a Mercedes-Benz CL600, both of which are worth more than $50,000. And lastly, he exposes himself saying he grew up in the Valley rather than Compton. And with all the details that Tyga gave us, his experience was nothing like he had made it out to be. This comfortable rich kid lifestyle is almost a complete opposite in comparison to the childhood he portrayed. Tyga went on to say that the show was scripted and he was just doing and saying what he had to in order to succeed, but the damage to his reputation had already been done. The public struggled to believe that someone who grew up in this way would lie and give all of that up for a show. People began to see through the social media beefs and the gang member impersonator that Tyga was. Since that happened, Tyga was more open to admitting he wasn't about that life, although some people did end up vouching for him.
He was born in Burbank or something, and then maybe, he moved down to Compton.
No, he
Bro, what is y'all nigga lying about?
grew up in Pasadena and then went to Compton when he was older because he was going to be a rapper.
No, he is from Compton. We're not going to take away his street cred.
Nigga just said he is from Compton. But I will go through every single Tiger discography. Who fed you this lie? Who fed y'all this lie? When did he say he was from Compton? You know how many hours I spent listening to Tiger? I think I never said these.
Is he from Compton or not from Compton? He said on the reality show that he wasn't.
So clearly there was a lot of debate around the subject. Ironically enough, by letting go of the image he had been trying so hard to portray and leaning into what he was actually good at, Tyga actually blew up even more. In Tyga's case, it seems like the public finding out about his come up may have been one of the better things for his career. Plies is a rapper who was hot in the 2000s with songs like Shorty with T-Pain, but his career seemed to be riddled with lies that would later be exposed. Before he was a rapper, Plies was already fairly successful in high school. He played both ways as a wide receiver and defensive back on his football team, was crowned homecoming king, was the valedictorian of his high school class, and was named the best dressed student of his class. After a pretty notable and awarded high school career, he went to college where he would continue to play football at Miami, Ohio as a wide receiver. He eventually made the decision to transfer back to his home state and attend University of Central Florida. But soon after his transfer, he dropped out to pursue music. This newfound interest came because of his stepbrother, Rennell Lawrence Lavatt, who established a record label called Big Gates Records. Plies first appeared on a song in 2003, and ironically enough, he didn't even want to rap but ended up being featured anyway. During a promo run for the song, Plies met an executive at Slip and Slide Records, where he would end up signing a deal that later granted connections for an Atlantic Records distribution deal. In the years following his first song, Plies dropped a few mixtapes that got enough attention to justify his first studio album. His album, The Real Testament, contained his first breakout song and one many of you probably know Plies from, called Shorty featuring T-Pain. Also in this album are a bunch of
Why he say Shorty like that? Why the fuck did he say Shorty like that?
tracks that discuss both gang life and love. The contrast between the two subjects, as well as the alleged gang life subject matter itself, are a big red flag when it comes to the fraudulent credibility of Plies. Funny enough, around the time of his first album release, Plies featured on the song I mentioned earlier with Rick Ross called I'm So Hood. In the song, Plies speaks on his image saying, "Pants hanging off me now cause my
I ain't gonna lie, I used to love this verse too.
Pistol heavy," and "They say I'm fed bound. They call me high risk. I'm a full-blooded goon. Lames make me sick." Following his first major successful project and a plethora of other popular features, Plies would continue his rise by putting out 3 more studio albums. But it was around the time of his third album that the public's magnifying glass looked his way. And when they looked, they found something pretty interesting. Shortly after the release of Plies' second album, Definition of Real, an investigation by Hip Hop DX began. They decided to look into Plies' authenticity, and they were arguing that when Plies uses words like
I'm so confused. Why does a criminal past make you authentic? That just means you failed because you got caught. You idiot. Anyway,
real or goon, he was referring to being hard or a gangster. Others also said that the stories he said in his music were supposed to be reflective of his lifestyle. To be fair to Plies, Hip Hop DX operated their investigation under the assumption that everything he said in his songs he lived, and what they found was that Plies had no criminal record in his home county. They then went on to search other surrounding counties in Florida's public criminal record system. They discovered that in total, Plies had only ever been arrested twice in his home state of Florida. So you might be thinking getting arrested twice isn't something to ignore or scoff at, but it turns out these arrests occurred 2 years prior. This means that they were right around the release of his first album, so it kinda defeats the whole come-up story he had portrayed in his songs. And obviously a criminal record is nothing to be sought after, and there's definitely a real chance he was never caught. But with this information and more to come, it's hard to see Plies as a common criminal. And on top of that, his arrests were for resisting an officer without violence, and his second was because of an incident that occurred at a concert of his. I'm not gonna go super deep into the concert drama, but there were some shots let off by Plies' brother, which led to his car getting searched, which led to him getting...
I mean, well, if his brother is with that, then by association, he's guilty. So, therefore, I think he can rap as slimy as he wants to. He just needs to stop saying that he's the one. Like,
a misdemeanor for possession of a concealed weapon. It wasn't a big deal though, as he just posted bail and pleaded no contest. Back to Hip Hop DX's investigation, the only other things they found were a few traffic violations and some civil suits. As Hip Hop DX states though, none of these county databases nor the FDLE's report include any juvenile criminal record that might have existed for Plies prior to his 18th birthday. They also point out that first-person accounts of criminal activities on Plies' part are conspicuously scarce in his raw rhymes. They then go on to talk about how many
that should let you know that he's not the one doing it. He just knows
of his songs seem like stories from other people's perspectives, but there are the occasional past tense references to what appear to be the claims of his own criminal activity. One glaring example can be found during his lament on the suffering his alleged criminal activities caused his mother on Runnin' My Mama Crazy, in which he recollects, "Remember the nights me sitting up in a cold cell, I'm waking you up out your sleep, it's me calling you from jail." While passionate, his verses claim that he was ever in a cold cell now appear to be untruthful, as according to the FDLE's report, Plies was never in jail for any period of time prior to 2006. They also pointed out that Plies has also produced a contemptuous image for himself on the screen, including his portrayal as a high-rollin' drug dealer in the video clip for Worth Goin' Fedfo. Another issue for Plies' credibility happened when Jamie Foxx famously discussed a situation he had with him. It all started with an initial phone call with Plies, where, as Foxx states, even Plies' voice was a big shock from what he was expecting due to the content of his music.
Yes.
Plies. I didn't know anything about Plies. I only heard the good records. I'm on the set with Plies to do this video, and when I heard Plies talk to me, it blew my mind, because when I got on the phone, I was trying to get where he was. Yo, what's up, nigga? What we doing with this video, cuz? And he was like, first of all, I want to make sure that we have the particulars.
Nothing wrong with speaking, being well spoken.
I'm not kidding.
Further down the road, when the two were together on a set for a video, a group of guys would approach in what Fox details an intimidating manner. When they approached, Plies, The Dream, and both of their security teams ran. Jamie said he approached the group and calmed things down, but Plies' actions had already been burned into Fox's mind.
So I get out there, we can't find Plies, and I understand why. You know why? Because he was afraid for his life. Because you never know, he could have died.
He ran to the bathroom.
As it turns out, the approaching group contained the rapper 40 Glock, who recounts a similar interaction going down, stating he wasn't even there to cause any issues.
This jumped up and ran himself in the bathroom, cuz. We wasn't coming to do shit to that nigga. He just jumped up and ran, cuz. You know what I mean? We was coming to hit him up and talk to him, let him know what's going on, like da-da-da-da, but nigga, we didn't come to sock this nigga or do nothing. As long as he wasn't setting up file, you talking some real niggas.
But regardless, following the incident, a beef was started that resulted in Plies releasing his diss letter to the industry. And then
see, Goon affiliated, that's more accurate to this nigga's lifestyle.
40's response returned to sender. It's important to note that Plies denies any of this going down the way that Jamie Foxx does, but to be fair, who would even admit to it going down like that, especially when your credibility is on the line? Plies even spoke on the incident saying, "People lie to enhance their situation," which is pretty ironic. With all of this being evident, Plies is still generally well liked and well regarded for his intelligence. Some say his retelling of stories, many of which allegedly are rumored to come from his family members rather than himself, pose a negative effect and take advantage of those who actually go through what he talks about in his songs. Regardless, nowadays Plies has mostly been seen on social media in a series of comedic, lighthearted posts that give advice to the youth, as well as dropping the occasional song or project here and there. So if there's anything to be learned from this video, it's that it's okay to be yourself, especially in the music industry, because if you lie, people will find out about it.
And then you're cooked, buddy. Like, and then it's gonna be hard as hell to build the fan base back up or the trust back up, because nigga, you just told a nigga you was this, that, and third, and then niggas find out you ain't none of that. Like, you're done. I'm gonna have to do my research. It seems like I was just like calling Maddie out, but I'm like 90% sure that Tiger was never trying to portray himself as one of those niggas, bro. I promise you, bro. Like I thoroughly listened to a lot of this nigga's music, bro. Like, unless something happened in between, what's that last tape? Hotel California? That's like the last tape I listened to for that nigga. Unless something happened in between Hotel California and then, nigga, I don't remember any of the. Even in this song where I think he's dissing Trail for real. But even in the song where he's dissing T-Rail, bro, that shit wasn't even really a diss song. Like, bro, there's no. I never got a feeling of, oh yeah, this is a hardened criminal or a nigga that's trying to be gangster. I never got that from Tiger, ever. It just seemed like a flashy light-skinned nigga. That's it. But yeah, besides that, I mean, Rose should have been told the truth. And Plies, nigga, you letting Jamie Foxx be? Let me let that go. That's the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and share your comments on the video in the comment section below. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Stay safe, y'all. Like, bro, that nigga is like, bro, the Tiger.
I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, ain't to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling the compass. See, this can't turn me into a monster. Hey, I'm a cowboy, can't stop me, to live is to come. All this pain got me feeling the compass. See, this can't turn me into a monster. I'm a cowboy, can't stop. Hey, all that pain got me feeling jaded. Many with your rope when to make it. Still plugged into the mix, but lagging out before the update. Drop back in, different time, same location.